I'm Dr. Angela McCarthy, and I'm a senior lecturer in theology at the University of Notre Dame, Australia in Fremantle. My work is primarily with students that are new to theology in the core unit for our university. But besides teaching that, I also work in theology and art. So my work in the community is about theology and art, and also liturgy, worship within the Catholic Church. I do enjoy my work very much, yes. I just recently celebrated Easter up in New Norcia with the New Norcia Benedictine monks, and singing in the liturgy there, and just really deeply enjoying the Easter festivities up there. It was very beautiful, very different to my usual parish, where I've led the liturgy there for 30 years. But now it's time for me to step aside and let others take that role, and which they did very comfortably and very capably. So it was a really beautiful opportunity for me to just be with God and celebrate the resurrection in a different way. I'm what's called a cradle Catholic. So my parents were Catholic, my grandparents were Catholic and Anglican. My life was all revolved around Catholicism. So I was born into a Catholic family, baptised, went through the sacraments, educated in Catholic schools, and then went to university. Really wanted to pursue theology, but one wasn't allowed to do that in Australia if one was a woman and not a religious sister. So it wasn't until much later that I could do theology. But I certainly studied art and literature and anthropology, other wonderful things, became a high school teacher, and then eventually specialised in religious education. Actually quite quickly specialised in religious education, and then eventually, as the decades came on, and you know, with my family considerations, as things changed in that arena, then I came to Notre Dame here in Fremantle to do theology, and eventually came to the point of teaching here at a tertiary level. So I've kind of gone through that Catholic education ideal and then into a Catholic university. So pretty soundly Catholic, I would think. It was pretty difficult actually, because I desperately wanted to, but that wasn't available. But I also understood at the time in the Catholic Church in the 70s that women's role was poorly defined, and women didn't really have a say in a lot of things to do with Catholicism. So what I did do, and I was very blessed to be able to do, is at Sydney University, Barbara Thiering, who was a major biblical archaeological person, she was working within the Jesus movement, and that was an extraordinary breakthrough at the time. So I went to her classes. I did 2 years with her doing biblical studies, and that was just an amazing experience. So if I hadn't gone to Sydney University and hadn't been able to work with her, I wouldn't have had that background. And then, of course, once I became working in religious education, then I did a lot of professional development in that area. And then when I came to be teaching over this side of the world, it became obvious that I really needed to upskill. So I came to Notre Dame to do a degree, discovered that I could do theology. So worked then very hard in theology from then on. So eventually in 2005 I actually started to tutor. Was it, or 2004? Somewhere around then I started to tutor in theology, and then eventually moved into the School of Theology in 2006, which was really wonderful. And then eventually in a couple of years, became full-time here. Had completed my PhD, which had elements of theology in it, but it was principally in education. Religious education was part of the focus. So then I did another master's degree, my research master's in theology, which I finished in 2013. Well, I'm the only full-time woman theologian here in Notre Dame, in this school. I'm the only full-time woman. All the rest of them are men. We have some part-time women, but I think that's improving and that's changing, and particularly all the difficulties that the Catholic Church has faced, and many other churches and many other institutions have faced over the sexual abuse problem. that is bringing out that what we do need is more women in leadership roles, and that those women be in serious leadership roles, and that it's not men alone who govern what happens to women and what women do and make decisions about women. We need to have women in there making those decisions. But I also work in an institution that is profoundly Catholic, and our Vice-Chancellor is a woman, Professor Celia Hammond. Head of campus is a woman, Professor Selma Alix. They are both women of very strong leadership, and they are women, high up in the church leadership. So in that sense, we're in a place where women are heard and women are respected in their point of view, which is a wonderful development in Catholicism. In my role as a teacher and as a liturgist and in art and theology in that world, I continually come across people who have the desire to be involved and have the desire to be working in this field and in the church. My role then is to walk with them, to help them discern, if necessary, if they want me to help them discern what they're doing and whether this is the right thing for them to be doing, and then to explore opportunities with them. Because I'm in tertiary education, that's the principal area that I can encourage young women and encourage them to get qualifications that are going to assist them in their church leadership. It's something that I've mindfully been working on for a long time. So I mentor other young women into the church. I'm currently mentoring, off the top of my head, at least 6 young women. So drawing them into theology, drawing them into the life of the church, supporting them as they move within the life of the church, and encouraging them in their studies, encouraging them to take roles in the church. And certainly on a parish level too, I very much encourage younger people to be coming through, to get qualified, to really seek those leadership roles within the church. Because if we don't do that, it's not going to happen. So it's a responsibility of all of us to make sure that there are people that are coming through, that are well formed, that are well educated, and that can really offer something positive to the church. So I always say to my students, and particularly to older women, there isn't an end date. You can keep going as long as you need to keep on going. So there's no end date to, you don't come to a conclusion until that conclusion's right. So now, besides doing the work that I do here academically, I am editor of 2 journals of liturgy, one of them based here and another one based in Melbourne. And my work for the Mandela Art Award is really important, so I engage with the church in religion and art practice and liturgy. So all of that's really exciting. And now I get to actually write what I want to write, not what an examiner wants me to write. So I think that's a wonderful place to be. So my career at present is very happy and very fulfilled, and I'm working to my capacity, I might add. I don't have any spare time at this point, but it's very good and very fulfilling.